Hello, Ryan. Hope you're doing well. I had a very, very busy week at work, and then today, I am leaving for a full week long work trip. So I will be unable to make a new response video, I should say, to your latest video. I decided to stitch this in with one of the more popular videos of my past, Screwtape's 15th letter. And when I get back, I hope to do a full response and new content for this series that we are doing. Thank you, and cheers. So today I'm going to share a letter from Screwtape by C.S. Lewis. Screwtape letters. Of course, Screwtape is a senior devil who is, shaky. Screwtape is a senior devil who is writing to his his nephew, who's a junior devil, so to speak. He's in his schooling, and he's been assigned a person that he needs to sway into the paths of devilry, Satan, sway away from God. So this one's interesting. So I want to share the whole thing. I don't think it's too long, but we'll see. My dear Wormwood, I had noticed, of course, that the humans were having a lull in their European war, what they naively call the war, and am not surprised that there is a corresponding lull in the patient's anxieties. Do we want to encourage us or keep him worried? Tortured fear and stupid confidence are both desirable states of mind. Our choice between them raises important questions. The humans live in time, but our enemy destines them to eternity. He therefore, I believe, wants them to attend chiefly to two things: to eternity itself and into that point of time which they call the present. For the present is the point at which time touches eternity. Of the present moment, and of it only, humans have an experience analogous to the experience which our enemy has of to the experience which our enemy, which is God, has of reality as a whole. In it alone freedom and actuality are offered them. He would therefore have them continually concerned either with eternity, which means being concerned with him, or with present, either meditating on their eternal union with or separation from himself, or else obeying the present voice of conscience, bearing the present cross, receiving the present grace, giving thanks for the present pleasure. Our business is to get them away from the eternal and from the present. With this in view, we sometimes tempt a human, say a widow or a scholar, to live in the past. But this is of limited value, for they have some real knowledge of the past, and it has a determinate nature, and to that extent resembles eternity. It is far better to make them live in the future. Biological necessity makes all their passions point in that direction already. So that thought about the future inflames hope and fear. Also, it is unknown to them, so that in making them think about it, we make them think of unrealities. Okay, let me reread that one. Also, it is unknown to them, so that in making them think about it, we make them think of unrealities. In a word, the future is, of all things, the thing least like eternity. It is the most completely temporal part of time, for the past is frozen and no longer flows, and the present is all lit up with eternal rays. Hence the encouragement we have given to all those schemes of thought such as creative evolution, scientific humanism, or communism, which fix men's affections on the future, on the very core of temporality. Hence nearly all vices are rooted in the future. Gratitude looks to the past and to love the present. Fear, of avarice, I don't know that word. Avarice. Lust and ambition look ahead. Do not think lust an exception. When the present pleasure arrives, the sin, which alone interests us, is already over. The pleasure is just the part of the process which we regret and would exclude if we could do so without losing the sin. It is the part contributed by the enemy and therefore experienced in a present. The sin, which is our contribution, looked forward. To be sure, the enemy wants men to think of the future too, just so much as is necessary for now, planning the acts of justice or charity, which will probably be their duty tomorrow. The duty of planning the morrow's work is today's duty, though its material is borrowed from the future. The duty, like all duties, is in the present. This is now straw splitting. He does not want men to live in the future, give the future their hearts, to place their treasure in it. We do. His ideal is a man who, having worked all day for the good of posterity, if that is his vocation, washes his mind of the whole subject, commits the issue to heaven, and returns at once to the patience or gratitude demanded by the future that is passing over him. But we want a man hag-ridden by the future, haunted by visions of an imminent haunted by visions of an imminent heaven or hell upon earth, ready to break the enemy's commands in the present, if, by doing so, we make him think he can attain the one or avert the other, dependent for his faith on the success or failure of schemes whose end he will not live to see. We want a whole race perpetually in pursuit of the rainbow's end, never honest, nor kind, nor happy now, but always using as mere fuel wherewith to heap the altar of the future every real gift which is offered them in the present. Last paragraph. It follows then, in general, and other things being equal, that it is better for your patient to be filled with anxiety or hope, it doesn't much matter which, about this war than for him to be living in the present. But the phrase living in the present is ambiguous. It may describe a process which is really just as much concerned with the future as anxiety itself. Your man may be untroubled about the future, not because he is concerned with the present, but because he has persuaded himself that the future is going to be agreeable. As long as that is the real course of his tranquility will do us good, because it is only piling up more disappointment, and therefore more impatience for him when his false hopes are dashed. If, on the other hand, he is aware that horrors may be in store for him, and is praying for the futures wherewith to meet them, and meanwhile concerning himself with the present, because there, and there alone, all duty, all grace, all knowledge, and all pleasure dwell, his state is very undesirable, and should be attacked at once. Here again, our philological arm has done good work. Try the word complacency on him. But of course, it is most likely that he is living in the present for none of these reasons, but simply because his health is good and he is enjoying his work. The phenomenon would then be merely natural. All the same, I should break it up if I were you. No natural phenomenon is really in our favor. And anyway, why should the creature be happy? Your affectionate uncle, Screwtape. So, that took me longer to read than I thought it would. The essence of the book, the letter, that's letter 15, by the way, is that he says, hey, there's this war going on. There's actually a lull going on in the war. And the humans, let's use this war as an example. They're looking forward to the end because then there will be peace. And then in that peace, I think that there will be satisfaction and pleasure, and it's just future looking. And there is some truth to that, that we always look to the next thing as if that thing is going to be what finally fulfills us. Oh, I can't wait to do this because then I'll be happy. Oh, once this happens, then I'll be happy and content. And as Screwtape points out, the more you can build that up, the bigger the disappointment when that thing actually happens. And this happens to us all the time. And me in particular, the grass is always greener. I thought, oh, once I get to Missouri, once we move to Missouri, then I'll be happy because then I'll be working a job that's more fulfilling. And then I thought, oh, once we buy a house, then I'll be more happy. We close on a house on Wednesday, or at least we're supposed to be. And I just know I need to expect right now that that is not reality, that I can't wait for that moment to be happy. Instead, I should be focusing on my joy right now in the present. Even recording this video is me expressing myself creatively. This right now is something I should be happy in, because this very moment, this present, is what touches, is where eternity touches, as C.S. Lewis says. The present is where eternity and time cross, which is so weird because the present is always moving forward, but it's not the future, it's now. I mean, I could wrap my head around it, but I don't know how to explain all that in words. But basically, like, living in the past is also, it can be an anxiety, but it can also be fun, like learning about history and things. But to always live in the future will always get you more and more disappointment. And I do I'm excited for things. Like in the new house, there's this shed that is going to be, and I said shed, garden shed. Crystal has already said we can dedicate that to being my recording studio. So I don't have to put up this microphone and set my books just right and get the camera up just right every single time. I'll just have a space that's just dedicated for that, which I'm super, super happy for. But at the same time, I need to find a way to not think, oh, once I get that, then I'll be happy. It's just not how life works. We always need to find something in the here and now that is giving us purpose, so to speak. So the letter is saying we need to not look forward even to peace. Going back to the war analogy, the war metaphor, because the thing about war is that it's just a distraction in this day and age. Like war is still terrible, and yes, there should be peace. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be peace, but it's kind of like it's kind of like having something temporary to distract you from living properly. It's kind of like having a crisis going on at all times. If you break a bone, your routine gets flipped on its head. It's kind of a distraction, like, oh, once this bone heals, I get the surgery, and then it'll heal just right, and then everything will go back to normal, and then I can be happy. And we ought not to look for pleasure in that way. We need to find the beauty in the here and now. And that is something that is very difficult for me to do. I've always just looked to the future. I have a very, very hard time just experiencing right now. But this letter is a good reminder of why it's so important to do that. And this book is on my books that I read every year list. Right now there's only 3. There's one, Man's Search for Meaning. Another one is Tale of Three Kings, and Screwtape Letters is the third. And it's also a reason that they're the 3 main books outside of the Bible that are like on the Modern Quest, must read list. If you haven't read those books, then you don't know what I'm referencing most of the time, because this is what I talk about. This is like the things that I'm thinking about constantly. This is like why I do what I do. This is why I believe what I believe, because I've read the Bible, I've read these books, and they've just inspired me to pursue the things, the creative endeavors which I am now pursuing, and why I want to help others live a life of meaning by embracing the modern quest, which is really an ancient one just lived in modern times. A quest for meaning, a quest for bravery, a quest in responsibility, a quest for wisdom and understanding, which is what you are working, which is your section of the modern quest, right? Wisdom now, why and how. So this, that's why we're doing this, is to help other people also learn to live in the here and now, and not the future. Don't look to the future. The grass is always greener somewhere. And the bigger you build up the future, the bigger your disappointment is. We have to learn to live in the here and now. All right, that's all I have today. See you next time on Speeches and Stories, Lyrics and Letters.